We've got the credibility to do bike for a number of reasons. One, there's a lot of cyclists in the company who use a lot of RAB apparel for cycling. The other reason is that a lot of cyclists wear RAB, so therefore it's an obvious joining up of the two things. So okay, we can bring cycling apparel to the market, but then we can also supply sleeping bags, and there'll be sleep mats as well, which are coming in S23. And then we've also got additional shell and mid-layer, all of which can be merchandised in, along with tarps and shelters. So a retailer can actually take a complete collection to provide for different types of cycling activity.
Both Dan and I come from a cycling background. He's done a bit of mountain biking and gravel. I've done a bit of gravel and more road. And what we brought to the table were very different. So it's quite nice to collaborate on that and work through things together for a range of cyclists.
I don't think I've ever worked on a range that was so collaborative. It was really good to be able to use a lot of people's expertise and knowledge in different areas as well, because we've got mountain bikers, gravel riders, bike packers all within the company, and this range needs to be able to suit the needs for all those different people.
We got members of staff who are big cyclists to bring in all their kit, tell us about the things they've worn down to the ground, what they loved about them, their niggles, how we could improve.
A lot of our products were either being used already on bike or were begging to be used. And we were reading cycling blogs, reading bikepacking, gravel blogs, articles and magazines that already validated our reason for producing Cinder products, for producing bike products. A lot of the fabrics were no-brainers. They were already fabrics that we knew would definitely suit this range, definitely suit Cinder, definitely suit adventure biking. For one, because we knew people were riding in them anyway. We just needed to tailor the products to just be a little bit more bike specific. But there were other areas of the range which needed a little bit more testing, a little bit more exploring. One of them being making sure the chamois was right on the legwear. Arguably the chamois pad's the most important thing on the tight legwear. So we needed to get that right. Especially for the activity that we're doing. There are a lot of different chamois pads on the market, very specific to certain activities. We're trying to create a range that is versatile for a lot of different off-road riding, and we needed a pad that would do that.
We reached out to a lot of chamois pad suppliers. Initially, we were just getting some samples from them, so we got a load basically sent into the office for us to start looking at. And at the same time as we were doing that, we were doing a lot of market research, so really trying to narrow down and focus on that more like adventure bike market. We really started to see the amount of research that these suppliers had gone into, and particularly Elastic Interface. They've partnered up with a lot of universities and done a lot of, all of the really specific biomechanical research around cycling and pressure points on saddles. We had people going out on gravel bike tracks, we had people out on forestry, we had people out on single track, on different bikes as well. And that really helped give us confidence in the decisions that we were then making from that feedback, that we were, although we have a specific consumer in mind, we want to ensure that even within that market, there's quite a lot of varying terrain to cover, and so we were trying to get that as much as possible. The Elastic Interface gravel pads that we ended up going with, these were the standout pads from the field trials. The women's especially, it was everyone's favourite in terms of comfort, durability. That aligned really well with what Elastic Interface had said to us as well, like what they would recommend.
Testing it throughout the office with athletes and putting in hundreds of miles, we can honestly say that it really fits the bill.
We put a lot of effort into making sure that each piece collaborates with each other. From a layering point of view, making sure that when you layer up and layer down, everything still works together. You've still got access to storage and the fit remains the same. Obviously having a slightly longer dropped hem making sure silicone grip was used in clever ways to make sure that certain parts of products stayed where they were while you're riding and didn't ride up. Helmet compatibility, whether certain jackets would suit over the helmet or be under the helmet. And pieces of adjustment would work in slightly different ways to make sure that when you're riding, the adjustability was incredibly easy.
I think that the thing that RAB does really well, that what we do, and particularly our developers are so good at, is really making our product fit for purpose, making it durable and functional for really, really grim conditions.
Out cycling, you're dealing with wind, rain, moisture, sun, evaporative cooling, dry times and materials, all of those things we have a lot of experience about from skiing, alpine climbing, rock climbing, mountaineering. So we're applying that same technical knowledge and know-how into an adjacent activity of cycling.